Welcome back to the Cosmic Temple, Cancer Risings. It is your time for your love, luck, and money. So, looking at your chart right now, your ruler of your chart is the moon, and the moon is in Aries along with the sun, Neptune, Saturn, and Venus. There is a lot going on because this is also going on in your 10th house, your house of career, reputation, public standing. So if you've been trying to stand out, it might be feeling a little awkward for you right now because your significator is in a sign that it typically is not happy in. You might be feeling a little extra spicy right now, maybe a little irritable, but don't worry because you do have a little bit of help. The moon is at the end of Aries at this current moment. So after, if you can stick it out and get through this one little bit, you're going to be back in Taurus. You're going to be way in your happier home. Taurus is the moon is exalted in Taurus, so it's a lot comfortable in Taurus than it is in Aries. But with that being said, you do have a little bit of help because Jupiter, our house of luck, our house of expansion, is in your first house. So maybe there are things that you are trying to bring forth, and now you have a fertile background to get that together and get it moving. So with that being said, oh, also, because you have Mercury and Mars, Mercury is coming out of retrograde, or it is out of retrograde as of now, and Mars, both in your ninth house of long journeys, of beliefs, of religion, and what else? What was the other thing for the ninth house? Higher education. There we go. So you might, if you are feeling a little bit stuck, especially when it comes to how you feel like you want to, where you want to move or how you want to move, now's the time, especially with Mercury being forward, you can be a little more expressive and communicative about that. Mars may be feeling a little weird because this is not a sign that Mars likes to be in, but that doesn't mean that whatever is being felt doesn't need to be expressed. So if you feel a little frustrated, maybe you might be feeling a little more into your feels than normal, and that's totally okay. It's all going to be over pretty soon. But also to remember, especially if this is in terms of journeys, that sometimes those journeys may be a little bumpy, but that doesn't mean that they don't have to be traveled, okay? But with that being said, let's get into your love, luck, and money. So remember, one card for love, one card for luck, and one card for money. I am using the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. I would have grabbed my African Goddess Rising deck, but alas, it's over on the other side of the room, and I don't feel like getting it. And I've been doing this, using this deck for the last few readings. So we're just going to keep the party going. All right, let's give it one more shuffle. And I'm using rising signs just because I prefer rising signs over sun sign horoscopes, because you can get a little more info into it that feels like it's a little relatable. But if you're not sure what your rising sign is, I would always suggest get a reading from an astrologer. And guess what? I am one of these astrologers, so feel free to check my Etsy store out. The link is in the bio if you want to get a reading. Right now, for all the Aries readings or the Aries reports, I believe everything in the store is 20% off, so check those out. But let's go ahead and get started. So for love, you have the Eight of Cups. For luck, you have the Seven of Swords, or not Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. And then for money, you have the Emperor. So let's get into it. Not much of a theme going on here, except that it is going to be a bit of progress for you. So let's talk about love. Love is the Eight of Cups. And here, think of this card as you have built up as much as you can with whatever relationship that you were having, and now it's time to leave. Leave while it's still good to leave. Leave before you have to burn the bridge down and never come back. Sometimes it's very hard to leave, especially when a situation feels like it it's going well. But sometimes you can see the signs before the signs become present, and it's always a good time to step back when you start having those feelings of this may not work the way I want it to work anymore. And remember, when it comes to these readings for love, love doesn't always particularly have to be romantic. This could be romantic, especially because it's a cup card. This could be, you know what? If we're looking at this for romantic, yes, I have been dating or been married to, this person for XYZ number of days, months, years, and as much as I love them, I can't be with them anymore. And that's totally okay. Same thing with a family member, same thing with a friend or a coworker, same thing with a relationship of any kind. This could be a job, this could be, a school, an apartment, maybe it's your roommates, who knows? But either way, I think the getting is about as good as it's going to get, and maybe it's time to just kind of scoot over to the side and let things run its course. Or this could be you leaving a situation for another situation. Notice that the person is walking towards the mountain, the unknown, these things where there's a lot of, how you say, where there is a challenge. Mountains can represent challenges sometimes because you have to cross a mountain in order to see what's on the other side. And this person, even though they have set up their cups, they have set up their comfort, they realize that there is something else that I have to go take care of, and now I'm going to go take care of it. So that is love. When it comes to luck, 7 of Wands. You might not be feeling the best for luck, mainly because you have to stand up for what it is that you believe in. And beliefs in your case are the 9th house, and it can also be the 11th house, the house of good fortune. But in this case, if we're looking at beliefs being 9th house, remember you have Mercury and Mars there, and they're not in the best of places. So, and especially when we talked about earlier that you have to be able to express what it is, even though you may not feel the best about expressing what it is, you're expressing it anyway. And that very much goes with your luck right now. There is a lot of things that are probably being said, that are probably being felt, and you have to stand on all 10 toes and keep expressing how you believe. So that is luck. And when it comes to money, which is ironically, this is the card for Aries, the Emperor. And this is somebody who has learned how to take care of themselves. This is somebody who has looked over the nations, who might be ruling with an iron foot. But when it comes to money and you're getting the Emperor, this also might be a time where you need to take a cold hard look at what you're doing and see if it makes the best sense, because if it doesn't, you might need to cut it out of your life. The Emperor can be very strict, and it can also be very disciplined as well. The seat that he sits on is not a seat of comfort. This is a, what you call it, like kind of like one of those brutalist designs, I guess is what you would say. It's not a very comfortable seat. It's not a beautiful seat, but this is a seat where he is doing this for function, not form. And when it comes to your money, you may have to take a look at your money as a sign of function, not form. This is not for luxury. This is not for comfort. You got something you need to do, and you need the money to go and do it. So this is how you're probably going to have to take that approach, at least for Aries season at the time being. So this is Love, Luck, and Money for our Cancer risings. I hope that helped. If it resonated for you, let me know in the comments. If you get something out of this, or maybe you see something that happens along Aries season, let me know in the comments. And if you want to get a reading at any time, reach out to me in my Etsy store. The link is in the description as well. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.